Hello and welcome to Resource PNG. On tonight's show we feature interviews with Ramu NiCo and Exploration companies Coppermoly, Resources and Gold Minex. To start off, we join Sam Akoitai of the Ramu NiCo mine. We find out about production levels at the Simuku processing plant, how the developer is addressing concerns about chromite levels at the mine site, as well as the deep-sea tailings placement system, and how the mine is managing with low commodity prices.
I have with me this evening Sam Akoitai, advisor to Ramu NiCo. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
All right. So, how are your production levels at the Simuku site, given the lower than expected figures we've seen recently?
Currently, about two months ago, the production level was about 30%, but now we've ramped up to 50%. As of today, the production level now is at 50%, and by next year we should be able to ramp up to 100%. But the commercial production starts at 85%, which we believe we can reach by next year.
All right, thank you. There have been concerns raised in the community about chromite levels at the mine sites,
Yes.
and we've heard that you've been in talks with community leaders.
Yes.
Can you give us an update about this?
The chromite level at the mine site is an issue that the company has been fully aware of from even before the production or construction. So what the company has taken steps to basically build barriers to making sure that there is no wash up into the river system. So that issue has been taken care of.
Oh, okay. Okay. The deep-sea tailings placement system was a reason Ramu NiCo was taken to court. Can you say with a guarantee that this is the best way of disposing of tailings, and give us an update?
Well, I mean, this issue ended up in court. Yeah. There's been concerns about deep-sea tailings throughout Papua New Guinea. It's not a new system that's been used in PNG. We've used it in Misima and in Lihir, and now the third mine that's using that system is Ramu NiCo. Now, looking at the process that was undertaken, we believe the company actually did a study which convinced the government to approve the system to be used in Ramu NiCo. So the company basically complied with the requirements that warranted the approval of the government.
Sure, thank you. So the low commodity prices have had an impact on other industry players, with many having to make adjustments.
Yes.
How has Ramu NiCo handled these difficult times?
Ramu NiCo is no different to any of those mines in terms of a decline in the commodity prices. Ramu NiCo has basically had its own say of the experience that all the other mines are facing. But we are fortunate that we've got a company which has stood up to the challenges that has given the company to basically continue to operate that mine. And this is something that goes far beyond commercial. This arrangement for Ramu NiCo was a state-to-state arrangement. So that basically where Ramu NiCo stands out. The company has made sure that it continued. I believe if you had another company operating this project, they would have closed down about 6 months ago. But the MCC has actually stood up to the challenges that they've gone through this in the last 6 months and still facing now.
All right, thank you. Ramu NiCo has benefited from favorable fiscal and policy support provided by the government. In the current context of a government tax review, do you have any concerns? The
Ramu NiCo project is well protected. if any changes comes about in the fiscal regime, Ramu NiCo project is well protected. That it's got a stability clause in the agreement,
Yep.
which covers the Ramu NiCo projects. Basically, that was actually given in 2002 when the government approved the project, not during my time.
Oh, okay.
But that clause was inserted for to basically protect the company from facing changes in the fiscal regime or any policies that's any policy change that comes from the government.
Finally, as per the Supreme Court ruling, an order was given for regular environmental monitoring and consultation with various stakeholders. 2 years on from the court ruling, how has Ramu NiCo implemented these measures?
Ramu NiCo basically continues to monitor the environment around the Simuku area and out into the sea, and also up in the mine site. So that, I believe, the company is in compliance with the court order, and we want to also make sure that the communities are well aware of what we're doing. So our community affairs department in the company has been out also talking to the people.
Okay. You mentioned community affairs. There have been also several concerns raised by the viewers about the hospitals and not having proper amenities. Can you just update us on any of that?
Yeah. Well, these are government responsibilities. But as we experience in mining companies to provide services, community services to the affected communities. I believe what the concerns have been raised is an issue that we'd like to take up with the company. But I want to state here that in fact the mine affected areas are fortunate to have a developer like Ramu NiCo. As I stated earlier in an earlier program, no mines ever gave benefits or help to the communities until they came into production. Ramu NiCo actually assisted the communities well before construction and also well before production. So I think we should be thankful that the company is providing that service. It warrants improvement in it, and I've taken that upon with the company.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for coming onto the show.
Thank you very much.
That was Sam Akoitai from Ramu NiCo here on Resource PNG.
Coppermoly, that's next on Resource PNG. Welcome back. Australian exploration company Coppermoly focuses on exploring and developing copper-gold molybdenum deposits. Their two main projects in the country include the Nakru copper-gold system in West New Britain and copper deposits at Simuku in Madang Province. We now talk to the Managing Director, Maurice Gannon, and find out about the vision for the company as well as their projects.
As the new Managing Director for Coppermoly, what is your vision for the company?
We would like to take Coppermoly to being a emerging producer by the end of next calendar year. That's the end of 2014. Coppermoly is asset rich, and we would simply like to advance the assets to the point where we are looking at becoming a producer.
What is the status of your negotiations with Barrick on the equity Barrick has earned at their Nakru project? Were there no other buyers interested in this equity?
There are always lots of parties interested in our projects because they're great assets. However, the original agreement that we had with Barrick, we had encumbrances on those titles through that agreement. So we were always the natural reacquirer of the projects. The stage that we're at is that we've signed and sealed a reacquisition agreement which is a staged payment over 5 years through to the middle of 2018, and we've already made the first payment, so we are already at 51% and we have full management control of those projects. We also have 100% owned projects of our own, of course. So we have the pathway clear to 100% ownership of all of the assets, and it was always my view that the assets were Coppermoly shareholders' original investment, and it was beholden of us to reacquire them.
It would seem as very different for Coppermoly to finalise any such deal with Barrick that has spent $20 million in the view of low cash reserves.
Well, we had to have the assets back in order to raise capital. We also have staged the payments over 5 years. So the original requirement was $1 million to go to control of the projects. I've renegotiated that anyway and reduced it, so we've put some of that off for the time being. So with a very relatively minor upfront payment, we reacquired control of the assets, and these projects have had $33 million spent on them, so regaining control of them effectively for $680,000 is a good deal in anybody's book.
Nakru is a sizable deposit. What additional work needs to be done to determine if it is a viable commercial prospect for Coppermoly?
Well, commercial viability is another story for further down the track, but we already have a JORC inferred resource on that prospect. We know that there's very clearly defined exploration targets. It's high grade. We can spend, for a relatively small spend on further exploration, we believe we can advance that project to the point where it is 60 to 100 million tonnes at 1% copper equivalent quite quickly.
Last and most important, why should investors invest into Coppermoly?
Well, we have a new, strong, experienced board. We have very clear vision. We have fantastic assets. We know where we're going. And of course, right now, the share price, like every other company's share price, is suffering. It's an ideal opportunity to back us so that we can really do this value-add exploration work, which we have clearly planned out for the next calendar year.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gannon. And that was Maurice Gannon, Managing Director for Coppermoly, here on Resource PNG.
More from Coppermoly when we come back. You're with Resource PNG. Continuing with Australian exploration company Coppermoly, we view a presentation from Managing Director Maurice Gannon.
Coppermoly going forward, we have an advanced high-grade project, open laterally and at depth. Our objective is to expand our resource during the next 12 months to 60 to 100 million tonnes at 1% copper equivalent. We also have multiple other complementary exploration targets, and we've regained management control and our key projects, and we have a clear path to 100% ownership. We have a very highly experienced board, realistic goals, and exceptional logistics. So in the short term, we're aiming for value add and to obtain value uplift. Longer term, we're aiming for substantial return on investment. After 6 years, we still have only a little over 200 million shares on issue. We have a concentrated, stable share register, and we have several very substantial shareholders. Barrick still have a substantial shareholding, and there are several expert judges of high-value projects amongst our top 10. Our new board, when I say new, we've had quite a turnover in our board in the last year. We now have a stable and highly experienced board. Tom Revy is a metallurgist by qualification. He's an experienced ASX-listed chairman. He was a board member of GID Minproc, and he's been involved in project developments globally and has lived and worked in PNG in the past. Dr. Natalia Strotsova is a PhD qualified chemical engineer, internationally respected, and has major company experience. Mike Ersig, who is not a board member, not a director, but he recently was engaged as our exploration manager and was previously regional exploration manager with Newcrest. Ben Faulkner is a private client advisor with RBS Morgans, and as mentioned earlier, I've been with Coppermoly since it was first floated. In fact, since before it was floated. So the value proposition. We have well-defined, realistic and clear strategy for transitioning from developer to developer and producer. We have a skilled team, excellent project infrastructure, strong local support and a clear path to 100% reacquisition of our key projects. We're an ASX and ComSox listed company, and I would very much welcome more investment from PNG residents and citizens. Our Nakru project is advanced and high grade. Already we have a JORC inferred resource, 38 million tonnes at around 0.9% copper equivalent, with very clear potential for rapid increase and upgrade. The objective is to take that project to 60 to 100 million tonnes at 1% copper equivalent by the end of next calendar year. A quick note regarding PNG. This country has a well-educated, mining-savvy workforce with a strong economy and very strong bilateral relations with Australia spanning generations. Talk of sovereign risk in PNG just is not right, as far as I'm concerned. It's a country with exceptional mineral resources and numerous world-class mines, as that map shows very clearly. Coppermoly holds a very focused strategic land position on New Britain Island. Ours were amongst the earliest and most prospective exploration licences on New Britain. Kimby is the provincial capital of West New Britain. It's a semi-industrial deep-sea container port. Coppermoly has maintained its exploration base in Kimby since 2008 consistently. We haven't come and gone. Nakru has it's an extensive anomalous polymetallic soil geochemistry. We've got rock chips at Nakru that range up to 20% copper. Numerous, I'll show you a slide in a minute that shows the coincidence of the different sampling that we've done. There's also extensive high-grade trench samples, which you can see there. And it's coincident with a very strong geophysical anomaly. This is a three-dimensional representation of Nakru 1, which is one of the prospects on the Nakru exploration licence, showing the supergene enrichment and the fact that it's open to the east and at depth. If you take a close look at those intersections, Nakru 2, which is another target on the Nakru exploration licence, has only ever had 3 drill holes, 2 by Coppermoly, 1 by Barrick, and all 3 of them have had excellent intersections in length and grade. That's the target that I want to focus on at the start of this year. Sorry, at the start of 2014. At Nakru 1, there was the first hole that Barrick drilled was into the 3-dimensional induced polarisation target that Coppermoly had identified, and it got a 213 metre intersection at almost 1%, 0.92% copper. These are the highlights, of course. There are other holes that have all been quite interesting. This slide shows the coincidence of the soil geochemistry, the geophysics, the rock chip sampling, the trench sampling, and the drilling and intersections on Nakru 2, which, as I say, is one part of the Nakru exploration licence. Also to the west of this part of the Nakru licence is Plesiumi. The EL is actually split into 2 parts, and Plesiumi was an historical exploration target. which has had barely any exploration since it was first discovered many years ago. That's another target that we would very much like to get into. This slide shows the Nakru 1 and Nakru 2 prospects and the holes that have been drilled into them to date. It also shows the extensive areas of copper and zinc anomalous soil geochemistry and a very large Didchem geophysical target right in the middle of the licence, which has barely been explored. To the north, we have the Simuku prospect, which was outlined in some detail in the movie. There have been excellent intersections in drill holes there, quite extensive drilling, but that's over a very large area. So this is a large porphyry copper deposit, potentially low grade, but also potentially high grade. It just needs more drilling. So where are we? Makmak to the south and east of Nakru. This was only granted a year ago. We've had 4 phases of exploration and we've already identified significant base metal targets for further follow-up. So what's our schedule? 2 holes at Simuku, they've been done. In fact, we're demobilising the rig this weekend. We would like to immediately heli-lift the rig to Nakru 2 and to get on with the drilling that we've already designed for that prospect so that we could have it finished by April 2014. We go to 72% interest in our key projects in terms of reacquisition from Barrick by Q2 2014. That's calendar year, by the way. So call it June. It's actually August 2014. We aim to upgrade the resource and to be considering development by the end of 2014 calendar year. This is an ambitious but eminently achievable plan given our asset base. What we need is, like all exploration companies, especially exploration companies that are on that point of the curve that ANZ kindly pointed out this morning, is just the place to be right now since copper price is expected to take off into 2017. What we need is finance, and we're studiously working on that. Let me finish by acknowledging our local support. This is something that I take very, very seriously indeed. We've maintained our base in Kimby right from the outset when we floated. We will always maintain our base there. We're a PNG explorer and developer. We're strongly focused. We're not targeting projects all over the world. We're on New Britain Island. We listed on POMSOX immediately after we listed on the ASX. And we've employed virtually 100% PNG workforce right from the outset. And we've tried our best all along to develop our local employees. Some of them are in the room and have gone on to bigger and better things, very gratifyingly. So the local respectful working relationship that we have is absolutely a pivotal part of what we consider to be what Coppermoly is all about. Our objective is to be a genuine PNG-focused, value-adding company for all of our stakeholders.
We'll be back with more after the break. You're with Resource PNG. Continuing with Mayor Resources, we showcase this presentation from Tom Charlton.
Mayor is a privately owned company based out of Australia. Mayor is currently one of the largest tenement holders in PNG, as you can see there, with over 31,000 square kilometres of tenements. We have a diversified portfolio across 3 different commodities. Copper gold, which are these green licences you see here. Iron sands, which are the red licences you see here. And coal, we're interested in coal, which are those blue licences you see there. Within only a period of about 2.5 years, Mayo has aggressively, but also strategically, put together a pipeline of exploration and development projects. Of particular importance is the location of our projects. Most are located within easy reach of the coastline, either on islands over here or along the coastline or along navigable rivers. So this is low-cost exploration at its very best, where access to the majority of our projects is either by road or by banana boat and not by expensive helicopter. So I would like to now move on to briefly discuss our iron sands projects. Maybe not many people have heard of iron sands before. So what are iron sands? Iron sands are known as vanadium titanomagnetite iron sands, and they contain iron in the form of magnetite as well as titanium and vanadium. And are commonly found as placer deposits along the coastline regions of island arc regions. Like the name suggests, iron sands are used as a source of iron, which is of course used for steel making. Our iron sands projects are stretch here across the Gulf from Kerama here, or in fact Tarapo, right through to Daru. So it's a huge swathe of contiguous licences we have. We currently have 11 licences, 1 are granted and 10 are currently under application, and we just completed 7 wardens hearings the other day, and hopefully they all went well. So these are underexplored, highly prospective tenements, and I believe that we could actually have for ourselves a combined resource potential in the billions of tonnes of iron sands and zircon ore. We have multiple river systems here entering into the Gulf. In fact, I think around 10 major rivers, which are dumping millions of tonnes of sediment into the Gulf region on annually. I believe we are likely to be holding one of the largest iron sands and zircon provinces in the world, with multiple high-grade target zones. In my opinion, I think this is likely to be a game changer for the resource industry in PNG, and we want to create a new export industry for PNG, iron ore and zircon mineral concentrate. So there are 4 main types of iron sands deposits on our tenements, and I'll just briefly discuss them. Iron sands deposits on the beaches and back dunes. On land as terrestrial beach placer deposits, or paleostrand lines, at the mouth of river deltas and as fluvial deposits, and also out to sea as large bulk tonnage, lower grade shallow marine deposits. I've got some nice photographs here of I took just last week as we flew over the whole region. I wish to just quickly talk about the content of the iron sands. Of course, I mentioned before, vanadium titanomagnetite is the main economic constituent, which contains the elements iron, titanium and vanadium. There's also secondary zircon, and we're getting zircon grades of maximising out up at around 1 to 2%, but at most of our projects, zircon averages are around 0.2 to 0.3% in the head grade, which is actually equivalent to some Australian producers. And just for a bit of background information, zircon's around $1,200 a tonne for concentrate, hence zircon could be a nice little bonus money spinner for us when hopefully we're eventually mining. There are also low levels of monazite, rutile, ilmenite, and even gold. Very, very low levels of gold. The deposits have low slimes, less than 15% slimes. Slimes are the fine material, and also low oversize, less than 1% oversize, coarser grain material. There are a number of comparable projects worldwide, the most relevant being Amex Resources Mba project, which is in Fiji, and BHP's BlueScope Taharoa Iron Sands mine in New Zealand. I don't know if anyone here have heard of the Taharoa Iron Sands mine, but it produces around 2 million tonnes annually, half of which 1 million tonnes is exported, and the other 1 million tonnes is refined in the local steel mill at Glenbrook in Auckland. All right, illustrated in this slide is just a case study of one of our best projects, which is out at Orokolo Bay, just west of the Valala River. A previous explorer flew detailed aeromagnetics in the region, and they actually delineated a 20-kilometre long zone or high, shall I say, a magnetic anomaly here, and this was auger drilled by them. And I personally believe there is 100 million tonne resource potential within this small deposit. These strand lines were deposited basically where the old coastline used to be. The coastline used to be 5 to 10 kilometres inland, and as the Valala River has grown, the coastline has moved out to sea. As you can see, it's not rocket science to explore for iron sands deposits. Since the iron occurs mostly as magnetite and magnetite is magnetic, it's actually quite easy to find iron sands deposits by flying aeromagnetics, as you can see here. So what we have here is just a table, a comparative table comparing different ore specs from prominent iron sands projects worldwide. We have extremely encouraging product specs for our magnetically concentrated samples when benchmarked to other industry peers. I don't know if everyone can see that, but these are our product specs up top. At this very early stage, we're getting results in a concentrate between 58 to 61% iron, which is pretty good. The Mayo team has estimated an OPEX of between $25 to $30 per tonne FOB in the future. The main markets for our product will be blast furnaces in China and new mills using direct reduction submerged electric arc processes. So in summary, yes, there are large deposits of iron in PNG, and we want to turn PNG into the next iron producing nation.
We continue with Mayo Resources when we return. Thanks for staying with us. We now speak to Tom Charlton, Head of Exploration for Mayo Resources, and find a bit more about the exploration company and its tenements in one of the largest iron sands provinces.
I have with me Tom Charlton, Head of Exploration, Mayo Resources. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Hello.
Now, Tom, Mayo believes it's got tenements in one of the largest iron sands provinces. Can you describe this region?
Yes, we have exploration licenses that are stretching from Kerema, in fact Tarapo near Malalau, right through to Daru. It's over 400 kilometres of contiguous iron sands tenements stretching along the coastline. Okay,
so when you say one of the largest regions, what are you comparing it to?
I'm comparing it to other known iron sands provinces elsewhere in the world. It's fairly underexplored. I'm actually quite amazed that there's not been much previous exploration for iron sands in the area. We're chasing both iron sands, which iron sands are used for, well, like the name suggests, for producing iron, which is used for steel making industry, and also zircon. Zircon is used in ceramics such as floor tiles.
Okay, and what's the potential within these iron sands projects?
I think there's potential for billions of tonnes of iron sands resource in the region. These are early days yet. We're only really commencing our exploration program, but at this stage there was one project in Oricolo Bay, which is near Valhalla River, where there could be potential for over 100 million tonnes of iron sands resource there.
Wow. I understand the company's very much got a PNG focus at the moment.
We are entirely focused on PNG. My background is over 17 years in PNG. I love working in Papua New Guinea. It's my second mother country. And all our projects, we've got copper gold projects, we've got coal projects, and of course the iron sands and zircon projects are all solely in PNG.
Now you're also interested in Lihir style caldera deposits. Yes. Can you speak a little bit more about that?
Yes, we have over 3 copper gold related licenses that are situated on islands that have collapsed volcanic calderas. That's Rambucho Island, that's Garove Islands in Kimbe. Rambucho is the second island of Manus, by the way. And of course Feni Islands, which is 2 islands down the road from Lihir. And all these islands have collapsed calderas. In fact, we have over 7 collapsed calderas on our projects, and surely one of them has a potential mine in the future.
Sure it will. What about your copper gold prospects in Milne Bay?
Yes, we have a project down in Milne Bay called Sadaya and Basilaki Island, the first 2 islands of Milne Bay. And my favourite, it's actually a porphyry copper gold project. It's called Tunawada project on Basilaki Island. And it's one of those projects that's fallen off the radar in PNG. Not many people actually know much about it. It seems to have just disappeared, but there's fantastic potential there. Preliminary work so far, we've collected samples of 0.85 grams a tonne gold, but the best previous sample is around 229 grams a tonne gold, so there's a high grade gold potential, but in my opinion ultimately we're looking for a large bulk, low grade gold and copper resource at Tonawada.
Okay, and how long before you prove up a resource there?
Oh, it could take many years. I mean, some of these porphyry copper projects take many years, but we're young and we're very dynamic and very aggressive in our approach. So we're hoping for within the next 3 to 5 years, hopefully, if everything goes to plan.
If everything goes to
Yes,
plan,
of
that's
course.
right. That's right. That's a key statement. Mayor's also interested in coal deposits here in PNG.
Yes, we're a very diversified resources company, and we're interested in coal deposits and Kalimantan style coal deposits. When I say Kalimantan is a famous coal mining island in Indonesia. Where 15 years ago there was virtually no coal mining whatsoever, and now it's a major export earner for PNG. And we've found coals that are of similar calorific value. When I say calorific value, I mean energy content, because coal is actually used for power generation. So you want to have coals that are reasonable, enough energy to generate electricity. And we have similar coal qualities to what they have in Kalimantan in Indonesia.
So Tom, you've told us about your projects on the ground here. What about your company? Tell us about Maya Resources.
Maya is a privately owned company based out of Brisbane in Australia. However, of course, we're registered here in PNG. We've only been in PNG for 2.5 years, but I've been in and out of PNG for over 17 years.
So lots of experience then.
That's correct, yeah.
Thank you for your time today, Tom.
Thank you very much.
Tom Charlton, Head of Exploration, Maya Resources.
We'll be back with more after the break. Thanks for your company. In this last segment, we feature Sandy Moyle of Gold Minex and talk about prospects in the Owen Stanley Ranges.
I've got with me Sandy Moyle, the CEO of Gold Minex. Welcome to the show, Sandy.
Thank you very much.
Now, Sandy, your company has some prospects in the Owen Stanley region at the moment. Could you tell us a bit more about those prospects?
We have 2,700 square kilometres of tenements and tenement applications in the area to the east of Port Moresby and to the northeast. They cover areas which we think are particularly prospective for porphyry copper and gold deposits, large deposits. We're after porphyries and epithermal gold deposits, and we are looking for plus 1 million ounce targets. So we're not focused on the small high grade scale mining, we're more interested in the larger targets. And the deposits, or our exploration interests, are located on the north side of the Kokoda area and on the south.
So in order to explore this further, what are your plans going forward?
We've had a fantastic run recently with a partner, Vale, who are the second largest mining company in the world. They liked our expertise on the ground, and they've used us over the 3 years that they were with us as on-ground operators. They unfortunately have departed the country now, as have many major players.
Why is this, Sandy?
I think it's a challenge. The metal prices is obviously a major play. The high exploration cost within Papua New Guinea is also quite an issue. We must be very prudent about our expenditure, and I think they look worldwide, and when they are looking worldwide at all targets and they have 50% of their budget cut, they only focus on those areas where they feel that they have their best targets, and that is pretty standard way to operate, and we do that internally as well. While we're focused on PNG, we obviously look at our key targets and we cut our tenements in size, and we focus on those targets which we feel have the best opportunity.
And what cost minimisation strategies work for you here?
Well, at the moment, we obviously have had to reduce our overall costs. We've reduced our tenement size. We've focused on our main key projects rather than looking at every target which we have outlined and our generative work has outlined. We have made sure that that we are only putting our money into those targets that are the highest priority. And it really is quite important. We've tried to cut back our helicopter flying time. We'll be looking to attract another partner. We feel that we are a good explorer up here, and also our management structure is particularly good, our board is good, and we can we have a fair bit to offer to other people. So we will be doing some exploration in our own right. We do have enough money to do exploration, unlike some of our peer companies, and we'll be looking at attracting a major partner in to do the drilling and the high cost end of exploration.
Why should someone invest in Gold Minex?
Gold Minex is has the advantage that it is a very experienced explorer. You know, our geologists are good. People like the way we explore. We're diligent about what we do. We keep our costs down, and we complement what a major company would like. They can offer the higher end technical support, and we can offer the on-ground support and do things efficiently. And when it comes to shareholders, the shareholders have the advantage of investing in a company which has a good exploration expertise in a country that is very rich in resources, and it's just a matter of putting the money in and you know, understanding the challenges that we're faced within this country to find major deposits. However, it's been proven that there are major deposits here, and it's just a matter of time, and they'll be discovered.
Now, you mentioned earlier the withdrawal of a lot of major players. Has that presented some opportunities for Gold Minex?
Yes, it has, and we're particularly lucky in that respect because we have a generative team that we are running at the moment, and they are actually given criteria which to search tenements by or targets by, and then of course we're seeing quite a lot of ground being dropped at the moment, so tenements relinquished, and that allows people like us to come in and peg tenements, and we do see targets on them. We'll only peg ground that we do think is appropriate for future exploration, and we'll give our stakeholders the best opportunity for return on their investment. So overall, it's not all downside, and I'm a firm believer that there are opportunities out there that can be gained by explorers which stick around in this environment.
Well, it's really cyclical in nature, isn't it? You're going to have your upswings and your downswings.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, this industry, the upswings and downswings appear to be getting stronger each time, but they do have benefits as well as disadvantages.
Thank you for your time today, Sandy.
Thank you for the opportunity to come and interview.
Sandy Moyle, Chief Executive Officer of Gold Minex.
That ends this edition of Resource PNG. If you have any comments or queries, do email us on this address, resourcepng@mtv.com.pg. Or to find out more, check MTV online. That's www.mtv.com.pg, and go to our Resource PNG page. Or you can check our page on Facebook. Thanks for your company. Bye for now.